The TRP National Motocross action is proudly brought to you by Swallow Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors. Welcome to part 2 coverage of the Dirt Bronco National, round 4, the TRP National Motocross Championships. And they've done an incredible job here at Dirt Broncos to ensure that we've got not the usual one-line track. And a lot of work being done by the sidelines and the team at Dirt Broncos to ensure that that happens. And we saw big action last week. Expect more of the same now between the 65cc riders, 125 high school, and our MX2 category. A couple of gear changes there. The gear changes are necessary with all the ruts that are formed. And we go straight into the 65cc's. Front end of this battle is all about Neil van der Vyver on that Q for Fuels Husqvarna. But keep an eye out on Van Wyk, who had a great round in Bloemfontein, securing the overall victory. So can he do more of the same now? The 5-second board is about to come out and the gates drop. It's a good start out the gates there. Van der Vyver looking for a whole shot if possible. Van Wyk going to go around the outside and try and steal it from him. So is Liam Botha. Liam Botha getting a great start, trying to squeeze through on both of them. Who comes out at the front end? It's not 216, Aiden Safi. Safi falling down, unfortunately, there, coming into turn 1. It is Van der Vyver who leads out. A nice start there from Trey Cox. Hopefully he can keep it all upright. He'll be looking for a top 3, possibly even go for the victory. If he can run with the power there of that Q for Fuels Husqvarna out front. And Van der Vyver opening up a margin now over Van Wyk. Cox on his tail. Trying to close down on the 747, 37 and 17. Look out for 717. Kind of a battle of the 7s at the front end of the 65cc heat. Now Damon Garrell's lost a little bit of ground though, so he's going to have to work with Liam Botha. See if they can all work together to close down on the front 3. Front 3 being Van der Vyver, Van Wyk and Cox. And that's them coming straight at us. It looks like Trey Cox trying to just hang on to the back there on the Alfie Cox KTM. Good ride there from Cox. Much better start from him this time. There you can see Damon Garrell, Louis Mostert just ahead of him. And behind there comes Sven Larsen. Larsen doing a great job out there as well. Keep an eye on him for a massive improvement out of him, just ahead of Jack Pullen and Damien Fenter. Youngblood MX rider looking for a chance now for a top 10. In that mid-pack, you can see they're all starting to line up, and there is Larsen. Just behind them comes Aidan Henley and Blake Osner. Henley riding for Out of Africa, doing a magic job, but just out the top 10 right now. He was in the top 10 in Bloemfontein. Let's see if he can turn around by the end of the race. Big turnaround coming from this man out front though, and he's opened up a big margin. He's leaving Jordan Van Wyk behind him this time. Van Wyk doesn't seem to have the same kind of answer or any ability to close down on that Q for Fuels Husqvarna man. The CIT Husqvarna there in second place. Rider down. 133 going down there. That is Kasim Hassim. That was a big crash, actually. He went down in the whoop section, went left and right, almost similar to what we saw last week in the 85cc junior race with Detoy. Massive jump over the Out of Africa section and pushing hard to try and close down on that leader. And this Out of Africa jump is a huge one for these 65cc's to try and clear. It's not easy to do. Probably only the top 3 or 4 riders clearing that jump. The rest of them hitting the top and just floating over the other side. Oh, youngsters now starting to be caught. The back markers are going to be a bit of a problem here. Or are they? They were in Bloemfontein. A couple of riders battled to find their way through on the slower riders. And the leaders, well, no problem at all there for Van der Vyver. He's found his way through nicely, so has Van Wyk. And in fact, Van der Vyver has been blocked ever so slightly because Van Wyk has closed that gap down. Cox has lost it a little bit into 3rd place. Not quite on the same kind of pace as the top 2. Back on track, a little bit further back there. That was 355. Tyler Peterson, I think, getting a little bit of assistance on the sideline to get going again. Eventually gets back on the circuit. 29 coming through there. Good to see Blake Frost almost into the top 10. He'll be working hard for the last couple of laps. Oh, Out of Africa and Swallow. Tabletop is massive. And you see how high these guys are flying, particularly the front 5 riders. All clearing that big tabletop on 65cc bikes. That just shows you how hard these bikes ride and how hard the riders ride them. Second place is Van Wyk. I don't think he's going to be able to match the man out front. And first race victory here on the day is going to go to Van der Vyver. Trey Cox is going to hang on for 3rd. He's got a big advantage over Liam Botha for 4, and 5th place will be Damon Garrell. Checkered flag about to come out though. One back marker with an extra lap to do, and the flag comes out for Neil van der Vyver. That'll give him oodles of confidence heading to Italy and the Junior World Championships. Overall results with Van der Vyver taking it on the Q for Fuels Husqvarna, beating out Jordan Van Wyk on the CIT Husqvarna. Then it's Trey Cox, and then Liam Botha and Damien Garrell. Louis Mostert and Damien Fenter beating out Jack Pullen for the top 8. Celebrations on the podium there for Van der Vyver. He'll be hanging on to that red plate, heading down to Maritzburg. And speaking of Maritzburg, Nick Adams in the MX2 category crashing out down at Maritzburg is out for the rest of the season, and we won't see the Q for Fuels Husqvarna man back in MX2s. Leading man at this stage is 23, Anthony Reynard, and as he's rode past us, you can see how confident he is. Look out for that man, Jesse Wright, on the Out of Africa Monster Energy Yamaha to try and put a wheel in the mix there with Malimi, Slade Smith, and Kieran Fitzgerald. That has been the front end of this field almost all season long, but never ever take out Ricky Raff, Brad Cox, Mark Hardy, Regan Warsmith, or Fana Nabile, as they all get ready to go now for race 1. Eyes down, 15 seconds turns to 5, gates drop, great start, and you can see Reynard almost coming together there with the Red Bull KTM of Kieran Fitzgerald. The two of them just avoiding each other and avoiding a big crash on the straight. Head up over Out of Africa and Tinswala, and it's Mlimi who's got the whole shot yet again. Slade Smith on his tail, and Cox up into 3rd place, fighting hard, as you can see there, trying to find a way through. Can he do it? We'll have to wait and see around that outside line. Oh, it is so close, but it's Reynard who just squeezes him out. Reynard up to 3rd. Hard on the brakes, coming through Ricky Raff. Then you've got Cox. Cox under pressure now from Jesse Wright. Jesse Wright with Fokelsang on the outside of him. Expected a whole shot out of Johan. He's very good here at the circuit. Didn't quite get it right, but the man who's taken over that mantle from him is Mlimi. He's had 4 whole shots out of 4 starts now. Look and see if he can keep it all together as they head up into the top section of the circuit and towards that big water tower. 2nd place, it's the CIT Husqvarna of Slade Smith. Then it's Reynard closing in here. Look at how they're all starting to sort things out for 5, 6, and 7th place. 2-1-4, Jesse Wright just managing to keep out the hard attack from the 2-5-2 of Ricky Raff. But the two of them are very evenly matched. Looks like Smith trying to close on the back end of Mlimi. A Red Bull TRP KTM rider out front, being pressurized by his good friend Slade Smith, and Smith looking to turn things around. Remember, he had a bit of a nightmare in Bloemfontein. It was up and down day for him. He now wants to make it 2 very good finishes for the day to ensure he can try and close things down there with Mlimi and give Reynard a run for his money to the end of the season. And Reynard, as you can see, has been working frantically to get his hard pack surface riding a lot better than what it was. Always known as a sand specialist. Looks like he's changing that around a little bit here with a very, very awesome track here at Dirt Broncos. Fitzgerald starting to close in and make up some ground now. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up into that top 5. He has got a lot of time though. It's 18 minutes and a lap for these guys. And you can see Slade Smith hanging on for 2nd place. Mlimi's pulling away ever so slightly. I don't think they've got an answer there to Josh Mlimi. Reynard though has definitely closed on the back end of Smith. So he's going to have to be very wary about that. Cox doing the same thing there, closing in on Jesse Wright. And Ricky Raff having some fun and games up the front end too. But you can see things about to change up at the front end. Mlimi is under big problems. And Slade Smith is applying massive pressure trying to get away from the hard charge from Reynard. He realizes the pit boards are telling him that Reynard's coming. And he's now trying to put them between, well, a rider between himself and that hard charging 23 Ace and Tinswala Yamaha. And that man, of course, is our championship leader, Anthony Reynard. Reynard, there you can see him in shot. All 3 in the same shot as they go through TRP. Anybody's race still. Mlimi hanging on, but Slade Smith is coming. So is Reynard. They're moving away ever so slightly there from the 4th place battle, and Kieran Fitzgerald is not too far off that 4th place battle. He's bringing Jesse Wright along for the ride. So Wright has tagged onto the back end there of Fitzgerald and looking for a chance to possibly get up into the top 4. Reynard now starting to pull and looking for opportunities. He really has got to push it as hard as he can now to get away. Reynard is the man who wants to hang on to this championship lead. 3rd place is going to lose him a little bit of points, but if he can make up a bit of ground and get through on the 2 rivals out front, he's going to hang on and definitely go to Maritzburg with a big advantage. Cox closing on Fokelsang now. This is a good little battle. The two of them very evenly matched. There's your leader, Mlimi. 2nd place still Slade Smith, but the pressure is on Smith. And Reynard is applying it in oodles and loads of it. And flying through here, and Reynard closing down. Big difference now, as you can see. He's definitely closed that gap dramatically. So is this man, Kieran Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald now moving up onto the back end of that battle between Raff and Jesse Wright. Cox on the inside getting through now on Fokelsang. Here comes the charge from behind. It's Regan Warsmith, Seth van der Nabila in there as well. And it looks like joining that battle, Khalid Al-Fayez as well. Super stuff from this rider. And you can see just a little bit of chopping and changing here between this battle. And expect more of the same as Carty comes along for the ride too. Warsmith trying to close down on Mark Hardy. Nice fight between the two of them as they come out of the modal turn towards TRP. Oh, Al-Fayez is down. He's made a little mistake coming out of turn 1, Bridgestone, and now heads down into the very tricky section with a bit of work to do. The work being done at the moment is coming. Whoa! Slade Smith running wide, I was about to say, is being done by Slade Smith, but he ran wide, pushing too hard to try and close down on Mlimi. And that's allowed Anthony Reynard through to 2nd. That's shaken Smith a little bit. And see how hard he was working to stay up there. Look at how hard the suspension is working on this machine as he looks to come through and take this first victory. Has Mlimi got what it takes to beat out Reynard? Reynard is coming. Reynard is working double time right now on a surface that doesn't normally suit his riding. And he's closing in rapidly on the back end of Mlimi. Raf being closed down by Jesse Wright behind them. They're also starting to line up there with Brad Cox and Mark Carty. Possible change up for the lead here. You can see international riding duties might be affecting him ever so slightly, but he is going to have to work hard because the Ace Sports and Sinswala Yamaha is going to hit the front, or is he? No, he's not. Oh, Reynard side by side with Mlimi as they go out of our sights. They come back side by side down towards the fly section, and eventually Reynard gets through. Or does he? Because Mlimi comes back for a block pass, can't make it stick. Reynard is through, he's taken the lead. He might have timed that to perfection. Reynard ahead of the all-clean Red Bull TRP KTM there of Josh Mlimi. And Mlimi, I don't think he's got an answer right now. He's going to look behind him and just keep out the attack coming from Slade Smith. But it has been perfect timing here from Reynard. And he comes across the line to start the penultimate lap. Reynard has got it all to do. Mlimi's got to find his way through on some back markers here. It looks like Sebastian Phelps is the man that's going to have a target on his back. But Mlimi just trying to fend off this man's attack. I don't think Slade Smith is going to have the same amount of oomph as he had earlier on. Running wide off the circuit just shook him up a little bit. And we continue to watch that battle just behind between Fitzgerald, who's moved up now, ahead of Jesse Wright and Ricky Raff. Coming to the flag, though, has Slade Smith got enough time? I don't think he has. Reynard's got enough time. He's pulled a bit of a margin over Mlimi, so should be able to make it plain sailing to the checkered flag. Mlimi will be watching the back all the time. There's Mlimi. Where's Smith? Is he in the same shot? No. He's also got enough breathing room there to take him to the line. First race win goes to Reynard for the Ace Sports and Sinswala Yamaha team. Be very happy with that. TRP, Red Bull, KTM. Josh Mlimi comes through the second, and CIT Husqvarna Slade Smith just beats out the second Red Bull KTM of Kieran Fitzgerald. Official results going to Anthony Reynard on the Sinswala Racing Yamaha. He beats out the Red Bull KTM of Josh Mlimi. CIT Husqvarna man Slade Smith in third, and then it was Red Bull's Kieran Fitzgerald. Jesse Wright on the Out of Africa and Monster Energy Yamaha making up the top five, just ahead of Raf, Cox and Carty. Join us after the break for more action from Dirt Broncos and the TRP Nationals. Welcome back to Dirt Broncos and round 4 of the TRP National Motocross Championships. Incredible circuit that's been prepped here today. We've seen great action so far and more of the same to come now to entertain all the crowds on the sideline. Ian Pepper and his team have done a great job to ensure that all the tracks we've been to all season long, along with Richie van der Westhuizen, are world class. We're heading into the 125 high school class. Unfortunately, Cam DeRoe with an injured shoulder again, saving himself for the World Championships, will not make it out onto the grid, which means that Fenta has got it all to do and could possibly walk away with this one. Not many guys can run with the same kind of pace as Dalton Fenta. Let's see if Tristan Granger, Arnu Simon and Miguel Duval can possibly do it as they head down towards turn 1, Bridgestone corner. Travis Goosen with a much better start than usual there. Ethan Hoffman coming through alongside him, and all problems. Granger's got stuck in there, and I think another rider there was Jean-Ray Van der Mescht. Callan Broski possibly just avoided on the Ridgeway race bar bike, but let's see if he's able to get through there. The 40 bike coming through there is Josh de Hudson, and Josh de Hudson with a fantastic start. He stayed out of trouble. He's up in the 5th place. Out front, though, it is Fenta who leads at this stage. And Fenta now trying to open up, even on the first lap, to get away from the hard charge coming out of Arnu Simon. Duval behind them, and then you can see Christian Saliers starting to make his way through. Around the outside, watch out for Tavo Verstaer, who got a fantastic start. Can he stay up there, though? That's the one thing we've got to take into account. Riders that don't usually make it into that top 5 battle will battle a little bit to stay with the front-end riders and their abilities, particularly on a track like this one. Big jump starting at the front end. At the back end, keep an eye out on the recoveries coming through there. Travis Goosen is one of those riders. He just got on the inside before those riders went down. And Goosen, very lucky to avoid. 384 is Goosen now as he closes in on the back end of Duval. Duval could be in trouble here. Goosen goes inside, tries to find the line, but can't quite make it stick just yet. It came out of Motel. Up over the Out of Africa and Sinswala tabletop. First and second, it's Fenta and Simon. Duval up into 3rd place now. Looks like he's broken the back there and got away from the hard charge that was originally coming out of that 384 of Travis Goosen. Christian Saliers and Goosen are going at it on the 2 Yamahas. Watch out for him coming in the background. There he is. Saliers now starting to close. And Saliers putting in some very good laps. His last pass, one of the fastest we've seen all day on a 1-2-5. Getting up into twin air corner and up over that big twin air step up. There is Granger, keeping out Callum Marriott. Behind them, they're lining up. It is the 783 of Hoffman. He's dropped back into the clutches there of Nathan Mabry, second of the CIT Husqvarnas. On the same kind of pace as that front one, but definitely pushing hard for a top 10 finish. This man's done it all so smoothly, all season long. Even when the likes of Cam Deroe are in the house, Dalton Fenter can run with him and give him a good run for his money. And that's why he's hung on to that red plate all season long. Second place battle has basically opened up here, and I think that Arno Simon's got enough breathing room to keep out Miguel Duval. The battle is for 4th and 5th, and it's between Saliers and Goosen. And Hoffman, throw him in there as well. Callum Broski on the Ridgeway Raceball bike at the back end, fighting now with Tristan Granger. And Granger on the Granger Racing KTM is having a good battle there with the Ridgeway Raceball man. Simon in second. How far back is third place? There comes Duval. That big step up at Twin Air, and now heading towards the water tower. Duval, I don't think, is going to have any answer there to the man in second place. The checkered flag is on standby, so this is the last lap. And no worries at all for CIT Husqvarna's Dalton Venter. Coming out of the Thor dip and heading up towards Motel. He comes down into TRP. The checkered flag will be waiting. And the win goes to Dalton Venter. A great run in the end, beating out his championship rivals by a long margin. And overall results going to Venter as well, ahead of Simon. Christian Salier stepped up to third place, beating Ethan Hoffman and Travis Goosen, with Granger Verster and Nathan Mabry, the top 8 in our 1-2-5 high school class. On the podium, there is the overall winner and the leader heading into Maritzburg. Look out for Dalton Venter, but keep an eye on Cam Deroe and his return. Let's catch up with Dalton.
Yeah, so my race went well, got a good start, that's all I needed. And I managed to lead it from there and just breathe and just push. And I managed to take the win. I'd just like to thank my sponsors, CIT Husqvarna, TRP Distributors, Dunlop, Licamoli, and everyone behind me.
It's time to get those Broncos dirt all off them with the Prep Sol cleaners and join us off the break for more action. Welcome back to Machali City and Dirt Broncos track for the TRP National Motocross Championships. It's round 4. That's probably the best seat in the house right now. That's probably the mayor coming in to show his support for the Machali City circuit. It's been great racing so far, and our final bit of action comes from MX2s as they make their way down to the gates. Expect a big battle at the front end after lunch. Mlimi got the whole shot. Can he do it again? Or is he going to feel the effects of racing internationally over the last couple of weeks? Slade Smith wants to turn things around. He's not going to make mistakes this time out. And Jesse Wright would love to be back on the podium. They're all trying to catch Anthony Reynard, and they're all lined up now for Heat 2. Gates are up, 15 seconds turns to 5. Gates about to drop. Good start this time, much better from Kieran Fitzgerald. Not getting up close and personal with Reynard, but yet again it is Mlimi who gets the front end and whole shots. That American and international experience is helping him with all of this as he stays ahead now of Slade Smith and Reynard. And in fact, Fitzgerald up in the second place with a much better start there on the second of those Red Bull TRP KTMs. They come flying up towards Twin Air for the first time through the whoop section and now down towards Thor. Trying to sort things out there for 4, 5 and 6 place as Cox goes at it in that 4, 5 and 6 battle with Ricky Roth and Jesse Wright. Reynard in third. Red Bulls 1 and 2. Reynard in the 3 spot, but being pressurized almost instantaneously by Jesse Wright with a very, very good start. Slade Smith up there as well, just ahead of Wright as they come out of the top section and down towards Fly. They're giving it 100% through there as well, and into the Fly whoops. It is Wright on the back end of Slade Smith. Smith on the back end of Reynard and looking for a way through. And he wants to return the favor. The pressure came from Reynard and forced Smith into mistake in the first heat. He's going to look to do the same thing now to Reynard. That's not an easy thing to do with Anthony Reynard. He knows how to soak up pressure big time. It's one of the reasons he hangs on right now to that red number plate and the championship lead. Oh, Roth makes a mistake. Reason being is the rider down. Is that Jesse Wright? Yes, Jesse Wright going down. Jesse Wright goes down in front of Ricky Roth. Roth had nowhere to go, and the two of them just getting caught up in each other. Good recovery though from Ricky Roth. He's been able to get back on track, and he's only lost about 2 or 3 positions, but he's got some work to do. Jesse Wright's got a big mountain to climb as they come past his sponsors there on the Out of Africa Tsinswalo tabletop. Smith closing in, applying that pressure, but he's down in 4th. That's not where he wants to be. These riders don't want to be down where they are, that's for sure. You can see just how hard Ricky Roth is working there with Brad Cox and Jesse Wright. And Wright has made up a lot of ground after going down. Roth fighting hard though to try and get up there for that top 5. Carty in the house too. Mark Hardy's had a good day in the saddle, that's for sure. Mlimi's had a fantastic day. Can he keep it all together though? Or are those international duties going to start to affect him by the end of this race? It's a lot of racing here today on a very bumpy circuit. And it means that Fitzgerald might be able to capitalize and get through on his teammate. Let's see if he's able to keep it all together and stay up front. Is he starting to feel the effects? Looks like he's still good to go. Behind them, Reynard and Smith are coming. And I think that's why Mlimi is being pressurized so big by his teammate. I think Kieran Fitzgerald realizes that the two behind him are coming quickly. And they might just want to put Mlimi between himself and those two very hot riders in 3rd and 4th. Coming out of TRP, and they go into Bridgestone and complete the lap. Cox pushing hard, and he's up to 5th. So Brad Cox looking for a top 5 finish ahead of Ricky Roth. You see that Roth has really recovered nicely after that tangle with Jesse Wright. Just trying to pick up on the background to see if Wright has done a similar job. Out front though, Mlimi goes high. Inside lines from the two riders behind him. And it's Reynard using the same lines as Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald seems to have got the margin. Up the back straight towards the water tower. Fitzgerald hits the front for the first time and overtakes his teammate. Confirmation of that. It looks like Smith has got through for 3rd place ahead of Reynard. The jet lag is starting to definitely have its toll here on Mlimi. Smith coming on the high line now, trying to cut back and look on the inside line as they go down. Fayez on the sideline again. He's had a tough day in the saddle. It's Khalid Fayez. And he's going to have to do some work now to get that fitness up. Look at this battle though. Smith closing in on Mlimi, looking for a way through. He nearly got out of shape through Motul. Look at how they're bunched up there. Yeah, it's definitely jet lag that's playing a big effect here for Mlimi. He is certainly very tired at this point and cannot hang on to that front end battle. But he's doing everything he can to just give his teammate a chance to get away. Blocking Smith and Reynard. Reynard coming back at Slade Smith now. Can he find a way back at the youngster just ahead of him? That CIT Husqvarna is going well. He's coming up on the inside as they come out of Twin Air, down towards the fly section, around the outside. Here we go. Possible change up. Smith gets the 2nd. Slade Smith up to 2nd place. Will Reynard be able to find a way through as well? Let's wait and see. So it's Fitzgerald out front. He leads. Smith is closing down on him. Behind that, it's still Mlimi and Reynard. So Josh Mlimi has just put something very special together here to try and hang on and keep out the attack from Reynard, but I don't think it's for much longer. Reynard got a much better drive. As they come through the fly whoops now, look in the background, has Reynard become side by side with him. And it's side by side between these two. So it's 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 going at it and make that 3 and 4. It's all changing here. It's proper good action in MX2s as always. There's a big move on the inside. Oh, Reynard just can't find it. He cuts back though into Motul and gets through for 3rd place. Can he hang on to it? Mlimi's coming straight back at him. He's not going to give it up without a fight. Mlimi comes into TRP and unfortunately loses that 3rd place to Reynard. Reynard up to 3rd now. Look at Smith though, hounding the back end of that Red Bull KTM of Kieran Fitzgerald. It looks like Fitzgerald now putting the head down and trying to get away. Smith can't quite match him there. And Mlimi hasn't given up. As much as we thought that he was going to allow Reynard to get away, once Reynard got through, he stayed with him. So the battle for 1st and 2nd are these two riders. Smith on the back end of Fitzgerald. And not too far behind them is 3 and 4, Reynard and Mlimi. Cox would love to be in this fight, but he's down in 5th place. A bit further back than what he'd like, that's for sure. But the brother leader tread and Alfie Cox KTM definitely had a massive improvement here this round. Now as they come down towards 100%. The checkered flag is on standby. Reynard's going to have to hang on. And Mlimi has done everything he can to fight off the 3 riders and the jet lag here today. That man is feeling tired right now, I can tell you. Heading up towards Thor. Out of the Thor dip they go and in towards Motul. And Kieran Fitzgerald's done it all right. He'll take the victory here in race number 2 ahead of Slade Smith. Reynard comes through for 3rd place and maintains the championship lead. Overall results there, Fitzgerald on the Red Bull KTM beating out the CIT Husqvarna of Slade Smith, with Reynard on the Tinswala Racing Yamaha in 3rd. Mlimi did a great job for 4th ahead of Cox, Roth, Jesse Wright and Seth van den Nabile for RPG on the KTM. 2 podiums for Slade Smith on the CIT Husqvarna.
Got off to a pretty bad start, but I made my way up to 4th and I stayed there for about half the race, and eventually I got past Reynard and Josh, and I was hunting down Kieran but just didn't get him at the end. And thanks to Team CIT, Fly, Dunlop, Liqui Moly and Oakley and Uncle Muna and Villy for all the help.
On the TRP podium, it's Kieran Fitzgerald on the top step and his first overall victory for the season. Let's go down to pit lane and catch up with Kieran.
Yeah, so the second race was great. Josh got the whole shot. I was behind him. He got a bit tired from jet lag. I managed to get past him. Slade then closed down on the both of us and me. But we took it home. We got the win after a year and a bit, and felt pretty good. So looking forward to Maritzburg, and hopefully we can get a double there.
Make sure you got the date for Maritzburg in your diaries. 10th of August down at Thunder Valley in Pietermaritzburg for round 5 of the TRP Nationals. We'll see you all there. The TRP National Motocross Action is proudly brought to you by Tinswalo Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors.